Yo, what's good, YouTube? I just want to do a VOD review today over Heroic Sire. Um, we killed this, I would say, on Monday night before the reset, and I've just been really busy with a lot of raiding, getting down Mythic. Mythic's been much more challenging than we had thought with the whole gear dropping less, and stuff like that, right? Like we go into this Heroic Sire and I'm 198, and they probably have it tuned for like 203, 205, or something like that with like legendaries and stuff like that. We ended up crafting our legendaries to kill this boss. So yeah, I mean I just wanted to kind of go over this like a VOD review, just go over what we were doing and then what I was doing as a Resto Shaman and kind of how your gameplay should go. And then go from there. So if you like this content, please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll be sure to be putting out more more mythic kills, and yeah, we'll get to it. So let's get going. Right here, the biggest thing about phase one is the burden of sin mechanic. So you just want to make sure, as you see on the top left, you see I have like a stat counter. You want to make sure you just don't have the same. Your raid can't have the same number. Otherwise, whenever blood price mechanic happens, you all just die pretty much. So, the good thing about shamans is we can actually don't ever have to soak because our ghost wolf can actually bypass the slow that you get, the slow effect that you get. So we have Devo going up right here because we only split the raid in half, so that's a lot. So we ended up having Devo, and right here I throw my link down. Earthen Wall Totem's a really good ability for a really good talent for these Echo of Sins. It soaks up a lot of healing, a lot of healing. So Earthen Wall Totem's really good. Make sure you have your healing rain down. I don't actually use P-Wave on this pool. I kind of int, but there was a lot of pools where I was using P-Wave and timing it up so that whenever damage was hitting, I had like 5 Riptides out, 6 Riptides out, and I was able to P-Wave those 5, 6 priority targets, specifically on the ones that were getting charged to, as you saw. So right here we have another Cleansing Pain. We have the AMZ. These are the charge mechanics that I'm talking about where they have the lines. You have to soak the lines. Earthen Wall Totem's down, so it's soaking up all that healing. And right now we're just filler. We're just doing filler abilities. So we're just Riptiding, making sure our Unleashed Life is on cooldown, Healing Wave. I don't really press Chain Heal that much. Wellspring is a really good talent right now. As you've probably seen in logs, every single Resto Shaman's running Wellspring. Wellspring is so good for this raid. It just, the way that this raid is set up with how mechanics are hitting and the patterns that they're hitting at the damage events, Wellspring just lines up perfectly for almost every single damage event and every single fight. It just works out like that. And the fact that Chain Heal isn't really a button that we want to be pressing because it's so mana heavy that whenever you're playing with Wellspring and you're Riptiding and Healing Waving, you just really don't spend mana. It's really good. So right here, we're about to phase. I get in Ghost Wolf to show you how. So I still have 5 stacks, which is the max. You essentially would not be moving, but with 5 stacks, I'm able to, with the Ghost Wolf, I'm able to bypass that. And right here, we're just going to go into phase 2. Phase 2 is pretty sleeper. It's pretty much like a little dance of hand of destruction, and we're just going in and out of the mirrors. So it's pretty sleeper at that point, but we'll definitely get to it. The biggest thing down here is dealing with the Impale. So whenever Remornia charges at targets, it'll pick like 2 targets, I think, or 3 targets, and it'll charge at them, leaving them this debuff called Impale. And that leaves a pretty heavy dot on them. You want to make sure you're priority healing them up. That's like the main focus. And then whenever these ads are out, there's more dot damage per ad out. So when there's 4 ads out, the most damage is happening when there's 4 ads out. And then as you kill ads off, the dot damage on the entire raid goes down. So right now we only have 1 ad out. Okay, so we're doing a Hand of Destruction, and the easiest way to deal with this mechanic is just run through the mirror, right? The boss teleports to the tanks, and you rinse and repeat. That's pretty much what we're going to do this entire phase, just running back and forth through the mirror on Heroic specifically. So another mechanic is Massacre. That's whenever Remornia does the swords on the ground and you have to dodge them. Very simple, very easy. Just sit there and dodge. As a shaman, you can just throw filler DPS abilities, filler Riptides, stuff like that. Just keep it on cooldown. Biggest thing is, as you see, I'm at 60% in this fight. I'm not even really stressing for mana at all. I'm only Riptiding, only Healing Wave, making sure Healing Rain is down, making sure my Cloudburst is being activated, and then also hitting Wellspring. Like you have all, I just named like 5-6 abilities, right? You have all those buttons to press before you even think about pressing a Chain Heal, right? So that's how the gameplay is going right now, and it's just really, it's really nice to be able to play this playstyle compared to what we were playing in BFA, where we're just smashing Chain Heal, smashing Chain Heal. And I like Chain Heal. Chain Heal is a nice button. It feels good whenever you're playing High Tide and you have those buffed Chain Heals, right? And you see 5 targets health just chunk up really high. That feels good and it looks good on your frames, right? But you definitely used way more mana as a Chain Heal build than you did with this build that we're using right now. So I'm going into last phase, phase 3, with 65% mana. I'm feeling really good about that. 40% is where the boss is at. And this is just a big old rhythm dance, the last phase. So we got Shattering Pain, and we have these Fatal Finesse is what this mechanic is called, where these orbs drop down and you have to soak them. So we end up having to soak these. I throw my Windrush Totem down to get us that speed boost, and then we're going to AMZ Link on top of these orbs to kind of finish the soak up and soak all the damage of the Hand of Destruction. So right after this, we have another knockback. And right here, I'm just making sure I'm keeping priority targets healed up. So we're just making sure our Wellspring's on cooldown, like I said, making sure we have as many Riptides out on the raid as possible so that whenever we do want a P-Wave, we have 5, 6, we can get 6 targets, 6 out of the 20 targets priority healed up. So we're getting another knockback right here. We call for a Devo on these Fatal Finesse just because these guys are taking so much priority damage, and we're going to have to soak this. So we have another set coming out. This is the weird overlap, but like I said, we have Devo for that. I make sure I Wellspring the back guys so that they have that healing to kind of sustain the dot that the Fatal Finesse is doing to them. Shattering Pain's coming back out. You see it, like, Healing Wave is just such a good ability, man. Right now, like, I'm sitting at 44% mana. I'm barely spending any mana. Healing Wave chunks, spot heal chunks, like, someone from, like, 40 to 100 easily, right? When you Unleash Life Riptide, that's really good. That chunks people from, like, 40 to 70, 40 to 80, depending on mastery. Like, it just hits really hard. Your abilities are hitting really hard. And you're just playing really like a spot heal build, man. You're just really sitting there and just picking targets that are low and just being on top of it. Being on top of your Riptides, being on top of your Unleashed Life. Your Wellspring timings have to be on point. And that's pretty much how you get your AoE healing comes from your Wellspring, comes from your you building up your Cloudburst, and then you really getting those like Riptides on cooldown and just picking good priority targets to Healing Wave, and that'll feed into your Cloudburst, and that'll just hopefully once you figure out your damage timings, you'll be able to activate it whenever you want at a time when there's high damage, and that way you can kind of burst heal up the raid, filling it with Wellsprings, Riptides, and Healing Waves. So right here, we just pretty much finish the fight. Like I said, you just have to soak these. This is like the final soak. He's going to pull us in, and then we just go out there and soak to kind of get the kill. So, yeah, man. I mean, that's kind of all there is to it. Heroic Sire was a little bit of a prog for us. It's definitely harder than the first like couple bosses in Mythic, for sure, I would say. But nonetheless, it's not anything too crazy. What I will say is I'm really happy with how they did tune this tier, because this tier is actually pretty challenging, and I'm happy that it's a challenging tier. I would hate for it to be like a face roll tier, like Emerald Nightmare or something like that. And the fact that we have a scarcity of gear means that this tier definitely isn't just something we can go farm Mythic Plus to then face roll raid, right? So I think we're just all so spoiled with the fact that we get so much gear all the time, and we've gotten so much gear all the time, that now we actually have to grind our characters up and progress our characters to go into Mythic to actually down these bosses. It's kind of refreshing to me. So, yeah, man, I just kind of wanted to go over this VOD, give you all a little taste of Heroic Sire. I know I've been kind of slow with the uploads, but I'm definitely going to be picking up uploads here soon. We're getting Mythic kills, so I'm going to be uploading those Mythic kills. Whether they might be VOD reviews or they might just be the kill videos, right? So it just depends. So definitely, like I said, like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, definitely hit me up. Go to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Jdtre. And thank you.